Hi, I'm Everett and welcome back to the shop for part B of the pulley making for the shaper. Again, we had to make a custom pulley due to the RPM of the motor versus the original motor. Now this time what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it. We need to make a broach bushing for it, as well as broach the keyway and put the set screw in it. So, hope you find it interesting. Well, next step is we need to broach the 3/16 inch wide keyway into this pulley. Now, I do have a broach kit that a friend of mine gave me a while back. It was mostly a complete set of bushings and such with a couple broaches in it. I've had a few broaches for a while now, and I threw those in the kit, and now I have a pretty much complete kit. So, thanks again, Norm. Now, the thing is that the bushing for a 5/8 B style fits beautifully in there, but is a little bit too short. So we're going to have to make a longer 5/8 broach bushing. Now I know that the outside diameter here is a couple thou under 5/8, so it's actually 0.623. So we'll have to cut a new bushing to that diameter, and then we'll put the 3/16 inch wide groove in it. Well, actually no, I have to measure it. It's for the B style broaches like this. Anyway, to do that, material we're going to use is a little bit more of that recycled Dodge front tie rod end. So what we'll do is we'll start by cutting up a new broach bushing, but a little bit longer. We'll cut the 623 or whatever it is here, cut the shoulder, and then we'll get to cutting the groove in it on the mill. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if Adam Booth can, if he's within a thou or two of his final dimension, and he's allowed to sand into final fit, then I'm allowed to as well. I like that. No rocking, and it just slides on beautifully, just like the other broach bushing. Now, I was having a change of heart here as I'm thinking. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take and cut this area here down a little bit more. I'm going to hold on to it in the mill using the shank here, and then just support the outside end here somehow. I think that's going to give me the better shot. My concern is if I squeeze in on the side as I'm trying to cut the groove. The thing is, I don't know if you can see in there, you don't wind up with a whole lot of meat at the bottom here, and I'm afraid that it's going to close the walls in on the side. So what I think I might do is, as I say, use the mill clamp here, and then support the end here as I'm cutting the groove. Figure that out as I go, but I'm going to peel this back a little bit more. I'll cut this back a bit more, and then we'll go from there. Okay, little man's finally down for the night, so I get a bit of playtime. Yeah, I might hear him in the background as he's still sort of yapping himself to sleep. So what I've done is got the piece of material here. I supported on basically a rudimentary, attempt at making a, bit of a jacking system. I don't have any machinist jacks yet. That's on the to-do list. Just haven't got to it yet. Now, the level of it has been set with a, a couple 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then an adjustable parallel to make sure that the bottom edge of this journal here is parallel to the table. And as far as longitudinally, or on the x-axis I should say, what I've done is I've actually taken, because this is the shaft itself is kind of rough on it right here, it's snugged in there, but what I have done is I've just loosened the one side nut and tapped the vise in. So the vise is now out of tram, but this shaft here is now in line with the x-axis. So I'm not going to bother spinning it across, but anyway, this is how I did it, was with my homemade indicator holder. We'll touch off here. You get the basic idea. I'll bring it back in when we're closer. Alrighty, so let's see where we're at here. Yep, there we go. So as you can see, I'll get this out of the way. Broach now fits into the groove. It's nice. It's a snug fit sliding through, which is good. Give it good support. Just take a deburr off the edges here and cut it off and face it in the lathe. Alrighty, quick little zip on the bandsaw. Got that cleaned off the end. All we need to do is face this end and we have ourselves a new tool. All right, there we go. We have ourselves one new tool, a slightly longer reach 5/8 inch broach bushing. So next step is, well, once I take the burrs off, then we can start broaching our pulley. Okay, little man's down for a nap again, so we finally have a chance to come out and play again. Here's our pulley. We'll set it in big side down. Our new broach bushing. I kind of like how the finish of that one turned out. Set it in there. And we'll take our broach, give it a coating of the cutting fluid. Again, the first pass is just going to be, there, make sure you got oil in the groove. First pass is just going to be regular depth with the bushing. We don't worry about shims yet. Cool. I didn't realize this thing would have that much stroke. Thought I'd have to adjust it up. Now I know it looks silly, but it does work. I just grabbed a nail and ground the end off to make a little rod to push the broach through after it finished cutting. All right. Yep. We still have about enough clearance inside those grooves there. It's able to handle the chip as it rolls up. I know that I'm actually a little bit over length for standard broaching length on a B-style pulley, or B-style pulley, B-style broach. So there we go. Now we need to just put a shim behind. And the broach itself has a 65 or 70 thou depth difference from one end to the other. These shims here, because I didn't have the shims for the B's, these are actually the stiffener bars out of windshield wipers. You can get some heavier duty windshield wipers, lighter duty ones. These ones are about 55 thousandths. They came off of our the wipers that were on our Toyota RAV. So you basically take the little stiffener bar out and you can cut it to length. And I use these stiffener bars for all sorts of stuff. There we go. Pass number 2 is done. I think that's just about there. It's 700 thousandths across the shaft to the top of the keyway here, and there is a little bit of corrosion and a little bit of dingage on the key itself. We have 702. So if I didn't know any better, because it's going to have to sit like this. Yeah. With a little bit of cleanup on that key, a little bit of judicious filing and polishing, that's actually going to be a nice snug fit. So I like it. Wow, broaching was a little easier than I thought it would be. So next step is, now that the broach or keyway is broached, we're going to take that location there, put a set screw in that groove, and then we can finally mount the motor. Final step in making this pulley is I need to drill and tap a 5/16 18 hole for the set screw. To set up here, I just kept it simple. I put the key stock in the groove, set it in the vise, centered it visually, sitting nice and flat, and I now have the vise tight. What we'll do is we'll center for the chuck, for the drill rather, we'll center off of the key stock, and that way we can lock our X. So that's 0. So we have what? 3/16 is 1875, so 188 divided by 2 is 94. So you can sort of see it there. I'm looking at it visually. She's right on top of that bar, so we're happy. We're now going to lock our X. Now as far as getting to the middle of the groove on the big side, because what we're going to have to do is put the set screw on the big side, partially because that's the only side that has enough material to even grab on, but partly also because of where it has to sit on the motor. So we're going to keep this reasonably low tech. And we'll use the eyeballometer, because really for this purpose that's going to be close enough. There we go. So we're in the middle of that groove. Yeah, I like where it's sitting. Pilot with the 3/16, one of the numerous 3/16 cobalt bits. Yeah, it looks like it came out reasonably centered, just trying to look down the groove. Now, we'll use a letter G drill for our tapping drill. There. That was perhaps a tad fast, but such is life. No, I'm still not interested in trying to power tap yet. Especially after how much time and grief I have into this piece of material. All right. Hooray! I'm happy with that. So there we go. After all is said and done, we now have a pulley. Hooray! Now I can mount it up to the motor, and then comes the next challenge of getting the motor mounted and aligned. So here we go. There's our motor. The key itself here has a couple ding spots in it from where the set screw was sitting in it previously. You can clean up the little burrs from that with a small hobby file. Take the burrs off of that. Take some Scotch-Brite, and let's take that rubber bit off for the moment. There's a little bit of corrosion further off the shaft here. Take that off so it'll slide on nice and cleanly. There we are. Now, due to space constraints, I'm going to try to get this pulley on as far as it will go and still not interfere. Now, because the outer groove of the driven pulley on the flywheel is the smaller one, we have to put the bigger groove on the outside end of the motor. At least it'd be a nice snug fit. Just don't want to mess up the bearings. Well, I'd rather it be a slightly snug fit than a slightly loose fit. There we go, and the little rubber thing is still not contacting the housing. There we are. Then the shaft itself, I can see is about a quarter inch recessed into the end of the pulley. I think that's going to give us about the most amount of clearance as far as the housing. See, the thing is, being not the original motor, this thing is longer than the original motor. The original motor was a 3/4 horse, 440 volt, 220 whatever, three-phase unit, and it was a shorter unit. So this is what was in there. It had this single-stage pulley on it, which I want all 4 speeds, so that's not going to work. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Now all we need to do is put our set screw in. I'm not going to worry about Loctite. It's not like it's a high vibration or type issue environment. Oh yeah, look at that. And that's even just slightly sub-flush of the groove. Oh man, I couldn't have asked for better. Now as I spin it here, yeah, I'm not really seeing any run out. So, all right. Well, we now have a pulley for the motor. Because it wound up needing extra steps, like I had to make the broach bushing, and had a few other side things go sideways on me. I think I'm probably going to call it on this one, and next time we'll come around, we'll mount the motor, line up the belt, and then there's one other piece I have to repair on the other side of the bull gear shaft. So once that's done, we can light this up and run it under power. We still don't have a table feed mechanism as far as automatic feed, but that can come later. So I'm happy. Finally got that pulley done. Well, I think I'm going to have to pause it for there. Again, I know this has been a while since I've posted. I'm sorry if I haven't kept up on some of my other friends on YouTube as far as making comments and such. I have been watching a lot of them. It's just often it's on a TV where I don't have the ability to put comments. I will catch up with that stuff as time goes on. It's also been a while since I've been able to post. Again, like I say, it's been a bit of a challenge lately getting some shop time. Being summertime, busy with family stuff and activities and things like that. So, I mean, we're all busy during the summertime especially. Now that I had a chance to get back out the shop a little bit, the pulleys on the motor, as I say, I have a couple more stages to do, and then I can actually put this machine under power. I would like to put in a better electrical system for it as well, but I'm still waiting for one part on that. You'll see how I put that together when the time comes. But yeah, really at this point, it is mount the motor, fix that one thrust plate that you'll see next video, fix the feed mechanism for the automatic feed on the table, rig up the electrics on it, and put the covers back on, and I think I'll be able to start making chips. It's been a long, slow process, and I'm just thankful that I have a machine now. It's going to be even more fun once I get to use it. So anyway, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Even if you're not subscribing, thanks for coming by and spending time on the channel here with me and in my shop. It's just really cool to hear from people from around the world, and don't be afraid to email me or put a comment down or whatever. It's really cool to hear from other people. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.